The Boston area commands a wealth of musical talent, whether as a magnet for visiting performers or cultivating stars of the future. But with opera, there's been a series of problems. To be sure, there's talent and there's an audience, whether for the old standbys or something more edgy. Yet one of Boston's two leading opera companies abruptly shut down last year, leaving some with tickets for canceled performances. Helping to fill the breach is another company, the Boston Opera Collaborative. Next week, it's giving 3 performances of Puccini's La Boheme, and to join us from the Collaborative is it'll be the artistic director, David Graham. Thank you very much for being with us, David.
Thank you, Chris.
First of all, talk about this ticket deal. How does this work?
What we're offering are free tickets for anyone who had subscription tickets for Opera Boston. So if they come and bring their ticket to us, we will give them a free ticket to our production.
Now, one of the handicaps for Boston over the years is that we haven't had a really terrific building, a mammoth stage with lots of elaborate sets for opera, but we do have other things that people really want. And I guess you've got some of that too.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's always a challenge, and especially when there are not a lot of venues at our disposal, and opera being a very grand medium, and you know, we do our best on the resources that we have to create those worlds and to create magic. But I think in the end, what we have is we've got the music, and we've got this timeless music, especially for something like La Boheme, where audiences know it and love the characters. And I think it comes back down to the storytelling, that you could eliminate really everything else and do it. We don't, because we also have our designers and production team, but you know, we make do and are resourceful and creative.
Well, if you don't think you know the story, you actually do know it if you know the musical Rent, basically, right?
Yep. Yes, it's what Rent was based on, was Boheme.
And of course, you're a company, a lot of emerging artists, and this is an opera about emerging artists, right?
It is, and very timely. It feels, you know, for a show that was written late 19th century, set in the 1830s, it feels very timely, and you know what it means to be a young artist in today's day and age, and going through friendship and love and the hardships of being an artist in uncertain economic
story
times.
For the 99% here, right?
That's right. That's exactly it.
Talk a little bit about the kind of music here, because you know, I remember when I was younger getting exposed to this and saying, "Oh, this is too gorgeous." I mean, it's almost too good to admit that I like it, because it's just so, you know, self-indulgent.
I think there's nothing wrong with that.
There's
nothing wrong with that.
I think
it's sweeping and epic, and you know, you connect with these characters immediately, and I like to think that Puccini was a populist, and he was writing music that we all liked, tuneful music and beautifully gorgeous and lush music, and it's great. It's really great, and people will see it and recognize a lot of the arias because they're well known, like Quando, and it's. I don't like to use the word accessible, but there's something about the opera that people flock to. I think it's very straightforward and simple, and simple, but has a lot of layers, emotional layers to it.
The emotional is because you're expecting this to be a love story, but overlayered, there's a lot of complication and even calculation. There's,
I mean, you have the economic aspect of it. You have illness that plays into it, and you know, and what does it mean? What are the obstacles of being a young artist? And in this case, it's in Paris. I equate Paris of that time to you know, our big cities, whether it's New York or Boston or Los Angeles, where people would flock to, and trying to make it, and trying to establish yourself, trying to pay rent.
Well, I'm thinking of, you know, Patti Smith's Just Kids, and you know, she's a bit of a Puccini fan as well, so it's the same kind of story. Right? Talk about the performers. Anything people should know about who's going to be involved in this?
The performers, the majority of the performers are members of Boston Opera Collaborative, and the company itself is comprised of 50 artists, 50 members who are in 20-somethings, 30-somethings, who are just out of their postgraduate work, making their transition into the professional world. So the show is populated by many of our members. We have other, professionals, young professionals from the city who are joining us as well. So it's a big cast. And we also double cast our shows. So we have 2 casts. Each cast performs 3 times. So all in all, there's about 30 some odd singers involved.
By the way, as we mentioned in the intro here, Boston lost an opera company last year that seemed to have a lot going for it. Mm-hmm. And so what do you see about the future, especially the role of your company?
I talk about this in that we can, for Boston Opera Collaborative, we can only do what we are able to do now and work within ourselves. I think that we provide a forum for young professional artists in the city. It really was unfortunate about Opera Boston, and a number of our singers, were working for them, and so the company provided work for our singers as well. And I think what we can do is we can just keep producing and investing in the art, and the company will grow and evolve and continue to provide performance opportunities and artistic opportunities for people in the city.
And of course, your company has been going to meet people more than halfway, because you've been to all kinds of places performing, even Farmers Market in Dorchester.
We did some Farmers Market concerts in the fall. We've been to the Somerville Theatre in Davis Square. We've performed in churches. We've performed in Roxbury. And we're returning to the Tower Auditorium at Mass Art for Bohème this time around. So we are a bit of as we've termed it, a nomadic company, but I also think that provides its own challenges and creative challenges that we meet head on. And how do you use the architecture of the space and bring innately who we are to the work?
Well, the main draw, of course, is the music and the singers. And by the way, the dates and times of these performances next week?
We open March 2nd, Friday, March 2nd, and we run the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And the following week, the 9th, 10th, and 11th. The Friday and Saturday performances are at 8 p.m., and the Sunday performances are at 3 p.m.
And you've got a website with some more details.
We do, www.bostonoperacollaborative.org.
Great. Thank you very much for being with us. David Graham from the Boston Opera Collaborative, and still more on the arts with Chris Harding.